Hello and good morning for me. I want to learn today a beautiful piece on the Hemshech Samech Vav. That's the nickname. It's called Yom Tov Shel Rosh Hashanah Taf Reish Samech Vav. It's by the Rebbe Rashab. He has a brief image of him in the Sefer, which is really nice. His name was Shalom Dovber, and he was also nicknamed the Rambam of Hasidus because he really organized and ordered the previous Rebbeim's works, which not as though that they weren't orderly intellectually and stuff, but he took the ideas, so to say, and made a lot of Hemshechim, which are continuations, so that there's just a long flow of ideas from the same idea onto the next, like a smooth continuation of ideas flowing, which we don't see before him. So just for example, this book is gigantic. This is called Samech Vav. It's bigger than it will stop. The whole book isn't a mimer, so not to be deceiving, but it goes up until majority of the book. Okay, this larger chunk is the Hemshech, and everything afterwards is back matter. So what is the Hemshech? It's a series of maimarim. It's not one big maimar. It's not one big Hasidic discourse. There's over 100, 200, I can't remember, maimarim. I haven't finished it. 61 maimarim, my bad. 61 maimarim, but if you just so you understand, each maimar could be 8 pages, 12 pages. So that's what we got dealing with. So what is this about? Really, it's a discussion about avodas Hashem. It's a discussion about different ideas, different motions of our avodas Hashem, serving God, really, and how that works with a little bit of the spiritual world, different energies. You have Ratzu v'Shuv, you have Teshuvah in here. You have all different ideas that he just continues and discusses. Mitzvah versus Torah learning, there's a huge chunk on that. I can't remember how far I got in here. It was a while ago, but I did get fairly far in. But the point is, what I want to do, that was all the background. I want to do the very beginning introduction. So the beginning introduction is really the introduction setting the tone for the whole Hemshech. The first maimar has a very long introduction, and part of that long introduction is a short introduction of 9 lines. Also, just so you know, just to make clarity, there's an older edition of text and a newer edition. This is the newer edition. So the older edition doesn't have as much spacing and stuff, and the new edition has more spacing and stuff to help identify the points clearer. So, okay, let's jump into it. Yom Tov Shel Rosh Hashanah shechal liyos b'Shabbos b'mikdasa yutokina v'lo b'medina. So when Rosh Hashanah falls on Shabbos, okay, what does that have anything to do? Well, b'mikdash, in the Beis HaMikdash, hayutokin, they would blow the shofar. Like we blow the shofar on Rosh Hashanah, but not on Shabbos. Aval lo b'medina. But we don't blow the shofar. It literally means in the surrounding city of Jerusalem, but what the understanding is very clear, in the rest of the world. So why is it that when Rosh Hashanah falls on Shabbos, we blow shofar only in the Beis HaMikdash, but nowhere else in the world? Okay, so the Gemara explains, Hatam Mishum Gezerah Derabba. This is an enactment, a gezerah, a rabbinic decree of Rabbah. And just to explain, it's not just Rabbah's decree. All of the sages agreed with Rabbah. When we have one sage versus everyone else, In general, we rule like the majority. So the fact that it's called the Gezerah de Rabbah doesn't mean that it's only Rabbah who made this decree. All the other sages agreed upon this decree. The Amar Rabbah says, Akol chayvim b'tekiyas shofar. Every Jew is obligated to hear, well, it's really to hear the shofar and the blowing of the shofar. Ve'ein akol bakiin b'tekiyas shofar. Not everyone's an expert in the blowing of the shofar. So what's wrong? What's the problem? Gezerah, it's a decree. Shema yitlenu biyado v'yelech etel habaki lilmod v'yavirenu dalet amos v'rishos harabim. It's a decree that perhaps the Jew who's not an expert in blowing the shofar, because otherwise it wouldn't be a problem, you'll see, carries the shofar in his hand and he goes to an expert to learn about blowing the shofar. And what's the problem? He will carry it 4 amos, 2 meters in a public domain on Shabbos, which is the problem of the laws of Shabbos, not the laws of Yom Tov. It's got nothing to do with the laws of Rosh Hashanah, just to be very clear. The problem is the laws of Shabbos. So again, to clarify, the rabbinic enactment is as follows. Every Jew needs to hear shofar. Now, you'll have back in the day, not like we have today, maybe certain Jews were in villages or lived in the forest, or who knows, different scenarios. But the point is, he even had a shofar with him. But he wasn't certain, maybe is the shofar kosher? How do you blow the shofar? What sounds need to come out of the shofar? All different questions. So it's on Rosh Hashanah, which is on Shabbos. He wants to fulfill the mitzvah. He runs to his expert, or to find an expert, bichlal, who knows, and holding the shofar in his hand. And he goes and he transgresses 2 meters carrying in the public domain, which is forbidden according to the laws of Shabbos. So, seemingly it's not understood. What did I say just see? What did I say just see? How did they see it fitting? To uproot a mitzvah of the Torah because of a worry of a Jew carrying in a public domain. So not only is it a worry, it's a worry of Jews who are, so to say, less learned and maybe less in tune with Jewish law anyways. Right? You'll see why that point becomes clear in the way I understand it. And how are we therefore preventing the mitzvah completely for thousands of years, 2,000 years, for every Jew, when Rosh Hashanah falls on Shabbos, and even more so for especially righteous Jews, and Jews who want to really serve God. We're preventing them from blowing shofar every time Rosh Hashanah falls on Shabbos, because perhaps a Jew who's not even very well versed with the laws of Shabbos, and in my wording, is maybe he's probably transgressing the other laws of Shabbos anyways, by accident maybe, and now he's transgressing again by accident, carrying shofar in the public domain, transgressing a law of Shabbos. But we're worried about this accidental scenario, which, by the way, just extra information, a true public domain is very hard to come by. So a really rare scenario, because of that really rare scenario of a Jew who anyways isn't keeping Torah mitzvahs 100%, again, even if by accident, but still, we weighing that higher than blowing shofar for, thousands, hundreds of thousands of times that the last 2,000 years Rosh Hashanah has fell on Shabbos for all the other Jews that could have fulfilled that mitzvah. Because of this doubt that we have. This doubt of a person who's not even a great tzaddik anyways. What's going on? And even more so, that's not a good enough argument. We put mitzvah shofar, and particularly the mitzvah shofar, she mitzvah rama v'nasa ma'oid, which is an exalted mitzvah, very exalted mitzvah. Not that we can upweigh one mitzvah than another mitzvah, but certain mitzvahs, every mitzvah has a different effect than every other mitzvah. Yes, in parentheses, every mitzvah is equal from the side of it being the will of Hashem. Yes, but from the element of a separate element, a particular element of the particular effect of the mitzvah, every mitzvah is different. So blowing shofar is fundamentally has a tremendous effect on a person's life throughout the year. Each mitzvah in the month of Tishrei, right? All the special mitzvahs in the month of Tishrei, hey, mitzvahs klalios, a general mitzvahs that affect the entire year. So the month of Tishrei is included everything. There's many mitzvahs. There are different mitzvahs to the mitzvahs the rest of the year. Okay, sorry. That these are general mitzvahs. If you hear in the background, my son is awake, thank God. So, the point is, sorry, I read it a bit fast, but the point is the mitzvahs of of Tishrei have an effect on the entire year, particularly the mitzvah shofar, which is the beginning mitzvah, the first mitzvah in the entire year. Ubi prat, and now one last detail in this introduction. Mitzvah shofar. What has the effect of shofar? Shema oire remam pinim yus v'asmus oire enseif. The mitzvah of shofar arouses and it draws down the essence of the light of Hashem. Right? So, now, let's rephrase the question again. We are worried. We are, no, sorry, let me start again. We are preventing hundreds of thousands of Yidden through the course of the last 2,000 years, multiple times, every time a Rosh Hashanah fell out on Shabbos, from preventing this mitzvah of drawing down this essential light of Hashem, those hundreds of thousands of times, because perhaps a Yid who isn't even keeping all the halacha properly anyways, runs into a public domain, which is very rare anyways, holding a shofar on Shabbos, to find an expert how to blow shofar. It doesn't weigh up. So what's the answer? Well, we will see in 20 years' time when we finish the book. I'm joking. The answer is, I'm not telling you the answer because I've read every single page of the book. I'm telling you the answer because I've read the last page of the book. The Rebbe Rashab finished the book. The answer is as follows. The shorthand answer, which I understand, is as follows. Then I'll elaborate on that. We started off with saying, when Rosh Hashanah fell on Shabbos, you could blow shofar in the Beis HaMikdash, but not anywhere else in the world. On a simple level, certain halachas we don't follow in the Beis HaMikdash because the Beis HaMikdash is the holy place of Hashem. On a deeper level, the Beis HaMikdash is a holy place, and therefore the effect that happens in the Beis HaMikdash is so great that certain things override what usually would happen to other places in the world. Here's an example. The effect in the Beis HaMikdash is so great that blowing the shofar in the Beis HaMikdash overrides the laws of Shabbos. So if blowing the shofar in the Beis HaMikdash overrides the laws of Shabbos, then we don't have to worry about this transgression. No one's going to transgress halacha in the Beis HaMikdash blowing shofar. Does that make sense? That's how we started off. So that makes sense. But we're still stuck with the rest of the world, with how I phrased it earlier, 2 minutes ago. It doesn't weigh up. Well, let's understand. What does the effect of blowing shofar accomplish? So we say it here. We say it here. It's not said here, so I apologize. It is extra information, but it's very basic extra information. Blowing shofar is linked up to do with Teshuvah. It's the next line. It's the next line. So it's right in the next line, but it's well known. It's from the Rambam, even explicitly says. So blowing shofar is linked up with the idea of Teshuvah. What is Teshuvah? Real Teshuvah is shuv, returning to Hashem. Returning to Hashem means returning our life to Hashem, correct? And that effect of that draws down Hashem's presence in our life. That's the last line that I read. The last line that I read said that mitzvahs of shofar arouses and draws down the essential light of Hashem. That's what I said, right? That's what Teshuvah accomplishes, right? Shabbos is the root of Teshuvah. Shabbos is about Teshuvah. So, now that I've said those few linking ideas, the answer is as follows. Rosh Hashanah, you blow shofar. Shofar, what do you accomplish with blowing shofar? You accomplish drawing down Hashem's light into your life. And that affects your life for the entire year. Besides the fact, just by the way, that there's 2 days of Rosh Hashanah. So we are worried that a few spiritual giants and great people, righteous people on Rosh Hashanah want to tune into Hashem's light, want to draw down Hashem's presence for them for the entire year. And we're not letting them do that because of the Gezerah of Rabbah. So seemingly Rabbah is making them lose out. But what if I tell you they're not losing out? What if I tell you that every week they have something called Shabbos? Shabbos being Teshuvah. And again, this is based on the end of the Hemshech. That what they can achieve, just hold on, Safira Malka, I'm coming 2 minutes. What these Jews can achieve, Jews that are tuned in, Jews that are trying to connect with Hashem, can achieve on every Shabbos of the year, which affects every week of the year. Therefore, what they can achieve on every single Shabbos of the year is equal to what they can achieve by blowing shofar on Rosh Hashanah. I'm not saying greater, but I'm saying equal. Therefore, Rabbah's Gezerah is not making them lose out. Even taking aside the idea that there's 2 days of Rosh Hashanah and that we blow shofar in 2 days, that 1 day of Rosh Hashanah that falls on Shabbos, they might feel that they're losing out the mitzvah of blowing shofar. Besides the fact that we discussed it in the Musaf davening, right? And that also in a way makes up for it, relatively speaking. But you think they are losing out. You think that they've lost an opportunity. They haven't. They can utilize the very Shabbos itself to achieve the same thing. And every corresponding week, therefore, they can achieve the same result. Just by tuning into Shabbos, the mitzvah of Shabbos. So now, the Gezerah of Rabbah is starting to make sense. We thought that the Gezerah of Rabbah was causing a huge, God forbid, deficiency in the Jewish people. It's not. The very same Shabbos that they can't blow shofar, they can make the same achievement through Shabbos itself. And even more so, every Shabbos in the year, they can make that same achievement. They can achieve to do teshuvah. They can achieve to tune into the essential light of Hashem, to draw Hashem's light and presence into their life. So they're not losing out. But the Gezerah of Rabbah has a place. Because even a Yid who's not very learned, who might not even be keeping mitzvahs properly, he might not even know that he's transgressing halacha. Please God, you will hear of this Gezerah, And on Shabbos, on Rosh Hashanah, that falls on Shabbos, he will have a shofar in his hands. There will be a Rishus Rabbim in front of him and an expert on the other side, and he will know. And he is not allowed to carry that shofar through that Rishus Rabbim, and the Gezerah of Rabbah will prevent maybe one Yid, through the course of history from breaking Shabbos. So the Gezerah of Rabbah now has a place, which shows us two things, two take-homes. Zifir Malka, 2 more minutes, 1 minute. 2 take-homes. One, how great is Shabbos, that every Shabbos we can achieve what we can achieve by blowing Shofar on Rosh Hashanah. No longer can you say Shabbos was okay. How can you say Shabbos was okay? Shabbos was nice. What are these adjectives to describe Shabbos? Shabbos is the holy day where we can achieve what we can achieve with blowing Shofar on Rosh Hashanah. And 2, the importance of every Yid keeping halacha. And even if we can prevent one time a Yid from breaking halacha, even by accident, we must prevent them from breaking halacha by accident. How mind-blowing is that? And number 3, just to clarify our point, when the Beis HaMikdash is around, then it's different. Because in the Beis HaMikdash, the achievement that happens in the Beis HaMikdash is higher than an ordinary Shabbos for us. And that should then also tune us in with Mashiach, because everything should tune us in with Mashiach, to realize that right now, yes, we have Shabbos. And what Shabbos can achieve is awesome and amazing. We don't have the Beis HaMikdash. We don't have Mashiach. And that is a lacking in and of itself. We can't achieve higher. Yes, we can tune in with our essence right now. But until Mashiach comes, there will be a lacking. Lacking in our lives, a lacking in the world. And they're linked, by the way. So may we please God have the ultimate redemption. And then we can blow shofar on Shabbos in the Beis HaMikdash.